Ayo, what up, everybody? What is up, what is good, and what is poppington? It is your girl, your little big little sister, True Mystique, and welcome back to Tha Black Tapes. Now, for those of you who are new here, essentially what the Black Tapes are my personal critique and my personal views on the state of Black culture, and giving you my opinions on how we can, as a collective, make ourselves better. And while you're at it, why don't you just show your sister some love? Leave a like, a comment, subscribe to my channel. Just let me know that you're here and you're feeling it, and I can feel the support. Thank you guys so much for listening. Now, I know I'm a little bit late to the party. A little bit sorry for the party. But today I want to talk about the Not My Ariel situation and how our sister Halle Bailey has landed the role of Ariel in the new live action movie of The Little Mermaid. I also want to talk about corrective diversity and how we're seeing a new onslaught of roles that were traditionally white that are now being recasted as Black, mainly female leads. So I want to give you my opinion on that. So let's jump right in. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Halle Bailey for securing the role as Ariel in the Little Mermaid live action movie. Yes, she's stunting on these haters and securing the bag. And I am finally happy that a Black girl, especially one with locks, hunty, is starring in a role. And that role of the protagonist is majestic and youthful and innocent, and not something that's degrading or sassy or she has to act hard. It's definitely a breath of fresh air, and I am here for that type of diversity of lead roles, especially when it comes to Black women. And for the record, for some people out there who may be a tad bit, just a tad bit, reading challenged, it's Halle Bailey from Grownish and one half of the duo Chloe and Halle, not Halle Berry. Bailey, not Berry. I know they have the same first name and I know their last names sound similar, but think about it. Why would a grown ass woman play a Ariel? Why? But let's use our brains, people. Please, we're trying to be better. Let's at least use reasoning, logic. I'm just saying. But she is following in her mentor's footsteps, because now you know, honey, Beyonce was just in the live action remake of The Lion King. And she did the album for The Lion King. So in that way, she is following behind in her mentor's footsteps. Now, let me tell you the reasons why she embodies the role, and I think she'd be a perfect fit. In real life, she and her sister are both very mild-mannered. She can sing her ass off. She's very sweet. She can sing her ass off. Very youthful. She has an innocent demeanor about her. And did I forget to mention that she can sing her ass off? Her and her sister are amazing singers. Amazing producers. They play multiple instruments. They produced their own album. The kids are alright. They wrote that album, and they are amazing and amazingly talented. So I think, race aside, she would be a perfect embodiment for who Ariel is. Ariel is innocent. She's curious. She's a little aloof and very playful, and that's the qualities that Disney found that she embodied. So why not? But you know it got the racist big man talking about Not My Ariel for a damn cartoon character. Like, is it really that damn serious? You got grown people that's parading and marching around and carrying on talking about Not My Ariel. It's not my Ariel. Ariel was never Black. Like, damn, like, why can't you just let Black people be great and parade around in our own excellence? Like, why are you always trying to rain on our parade? If you don't like us, just leave us alone. Like, why? I mean, I get it. Y'all don't want people coming around and changing the nature of your character that you've grown up to love so much. I get it. You don't like change. Most people don't like change. I feel you. And one thing that I am the queen of, honey, okay, is I'm the queen of understanding where people come from. I may not agree with why you feel the way you do, but I can at least understand why you feel the way you feel. So that doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with you, but I have an open enough mind, and I can admit that I have an open enough mind to say that I can understand why you would feel the way you do. But, I have to say that your rationale behind being angry about this is very flawed. I can't get behind it. If you want to be mad at this, I'm going to need for y'all, whoever is mad at Ariel being black, I'm going to need for y'all to take that energy that you have of a black Ariel, and you need to put it towards other things. Let's talk about it, okay? I'm going to need for y'all to talk about y'all silence when it comes to characters of color that are being whitewashed. I mean, if you want to go there, let's keep the same energy. Energy needs to travel the same throughout, or else it's not going to work. Just like with energy flow, period, like a light or any other circuit, in order for an appliance or a piece of technology to work properly, the flow has to be consistent. Y'all getting really worked up and losing sleep over her being black. First of all, she a bloody fish. Alright? Ariel is a damn fish. She's an aquatic mammal. Last time I checked, aquatic mammals are not race specific. What race of people do you know that live in the goddamn sea? Tell me. Because let's be honest, you haven't. And that means realistically, Ariel could be anybody of any race. Y'all people that are really big mad at Ariel being black are the same people that wouldn't mind if Ursula, a damn octopus, a bloody purple octopus, was a black woman. So let me get this straight. Y'all wouldn't mind if a black girl or a black woman plays a loud, evil, ratchet, or otherwise obnoxious and degrading role. But you have a problem with her being a mild-mannered mythical creature. Okay. I see how y'all really see black women and how y'all really feel about black women. I mean, let's be honest. You ain't gotta say it. You say it through your actions. Actions speak louder than words. So, tell me how you really feel. And it's funny how y'all comeback argument every time is, oh, you would be upset if Princess Tiana was played by a white woman. That is the dumbest argument out there. Because, for one, yes, we would be pissed. Let me ask you a question and try not to wrap your brains too much about it. But, can you name another black Disney princess besides Princess Tiana? Don't worry, I'll wait. And because y'all like factually sticking to a character and remaining true culturally to a character, okay, Princess Tiana, please know, was modeled after a real life person, Leah Chase, who is renowned as one of the best Creole chefs in Louisiana, a black woman who lives in Louisiana. And the Princess of the Frog highlights black Creole culture of Louisiana. So, what does that mean? That means letting a white girl or a white woman play her wouldn't make sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's bad enough that y'all done lightened her up and loosened her curls in the 3D version of the princess movies like we wouldn't notice. Like, come on, really? And can we please talk about how Tiana was a frog most of the movie? So, yeah, no, You tried, but you're really failing. And let me ask y'all another question while we're on this topic. When it comes to Disney princesses of color, do you not realize that for every other ethnic group, there's only one Disney princess? And I don't even think that there's a Hispanic Disney princess, so, I'm just saying. Listen, just like Mulan was based off of Asian culture, and Pocahontas was based off of Native American culture and the watered down life of the real Pocahontas, they babied a lot of that movie because a lot of that was not true. A lot more worse things happened to Pocahontas, and Pocahontas was young. And just like Moana was actually based on Polynesian Hawaiian culture, do you see a theme? Y'all see a pattern emerging here? Every single one of the princesses of colors, race, ethnicity, and cultures had a direct effect on the storyline of the movie, whereas the white ones did not. And there are multiple white princesses out there. So you telling us we would be mad if they were white? Yes, because each of the minority groups out there only have one Disney princess. Y'all got a shit ton. So y'all shit ton to our one each. Can y'all do maths? If y'all know how to do maths, you would know that would not make any sense. And do you know what's also funny? I also find it really comical that the same people who are sitting here and complaining that Ariel is now black are the same bloody people who so loudly and fraudulently claim that they do not see color. Oh, I don't see color. I'm colorblind. There's only one race, the human race. Bullshit. You know what that means? That's a secret code for I'm uncomfortable talking about racism because it doesn't readily affect me, and I would just rather sit in a bubble my whole life in my own ignorance and not have to deal with these things up front face to face because it's so damn taxing. I don't want to hurt my brain. I just want to be comfortable. Well, I'm sorry for you that you feel uncomfortable dealing with real life issues. Well, let me tell you, that's not nearly as bad as having to be a person of color, especially a black person, and having your race being brought up to the forefront of every conversation and every facet of your life every single day. And you can't even forget it. People discriminate you for no other reason other than you having a little bit more pigment in your damn skin. And people making laws that inhibit your full potential just because of that fact. And imagine being policed solely on the way you look. No rhyme, no reason, just being seen as a criminal or being seen as less than a human being just because you got a little bit more melanin in your damn skin. Imagine having social ramifications against you and everyone like you essentially hating you and leaving you defenseless and thinking that you are not deserving of protection because of absurd generalizing stereotypes on the basis of your race and gender collectively. I'm sorry, but that right there sounds a lot worse and a lot more uncomfortable than you not wanting to deal with racist issues just because it doesn't affect you. Do you know that that's a privilege? That right there is what people mean when they talk about white privilege. White privilege is the privilege of not having your race affect your life in a negative way and not having to deal with issues that affect your race because you are that of the dominant culture. So when people say that white privilege doesn't exist, that's bullshit. Just because you may be poor, just because you may be uneducated, you still have the upper hand being white, and especially more so if you are a straight white male. Privilege is not a one-size-fits-all thing. You could be privileged in one area and disadvantaged in another. That's how privilege works. Don't forget that. And if you are one of those people who claim that they don't see color, I'm gonna need for you to get your bloody eyes checked because there is no way in hell that you can navigate through life and seeing the beauty and meaning through everything if your eyes can't pick up a few spectrums of light in a different shade. Do not let your ignorance be your undoing and your demise because you are really showing your true colors. And in order to be better, we have to point out the hypocrisy. We can't be silent about it. Being silent makes it worse. Tackle it head on so it won't grow and it won't fester. Because if you let it grow and you let it fester and you let it sit, a problem exacerbates itself. So y'all who think, oh, why y'all talking about racism? Not talking about it is not going to make it go away. As you see now, people thought that racism was over and done with. And I also want to make another statement. I'm just finding so many things that are just comical with this whole situation and what this whole situation has uncovered. Isn't it also comical that when black people complain about a lack of positive representation in the media, y'all love to tell us to get over it. Who cares? Whenever black people try to discuss our plight and our legitimate grievances and pains, you continuously belittle us and tell us to get over it because you feel that we're making a big deal over something that is small to you. The gaslighting that you do to black people on a daily basis is fucking crazy. Especially when it comes to slavery, it's despicable, it's deplorable, it's horrendous. And that really shows you where your head is at and where your heart is at. You have none. You bleed Kool-Aid. Y'all don't bleed Kool-Aid. Yeah, you bleed bleach. How about that? Y'all bleeding bleach. That's a good analogy. You bleed bleach. Bleach is harmful. Bleach is painful. Bleach is very toxic. Yeah. Your heart pumps bleach. You have no heart. And me, personally, I was never one, and I'm never going to be one that is going to give up on speaking my truth just to make sure that you're comfortable. I'm not here for it. It's not my fault that society has lied to you and you can't handle the real truth and you can't handle no longer being the center of attention. Oh, well, like y'all like to tell us, get over it, sis. You're grown, and I'm not the one to coddle you, baby. Especially because you don't for me. You can find another simple-minded, easygoing black person to do that, but I ain't the one. Keep that same energy, sis. If you want to have selective outrage, guess what? So can I, and so can other black people. Y'all the same one talking about, oh, y'all need to stop blackfacing white characters. But y'all the same people who got mad that Rue from the Hunger Games was black in the movie, even though she was written as black and District 11 was written as black in the bloody book. In the book. But y'all mad that she was black on screen. And tell me how y'all really be feeling about these black cosplayers, especially black female cosplayers and black female gamers. Y'all don't show us any love, and y'all are very racist and derogatory towards them too. So all I'm saying is, if you want to get mad and you want to get outraged, keep that same energy. Do you realize that the image that you see of black people and anybody else who are not like you in the media actually translates to how you really view them in real life, especially if you've never encountered them? If you're only going based off of the images that you see of us in the media, how do you think that is going to shape your perception of us? All I'm saying is that if y'all want to get mad at the concept of a black Ariel, cool. You have a right to do that, but whilst doing that, I'm going to need for y'all to be mad at every single one of the roles of color that were whitewashed by white actors and actresses. Like Angelina Jolie being an Afro-Cuban woman, and I think it was Brad Pitt, you could correct me if I'm wrong, who was playing a Mexican-American man. Or Scarlett Johansson, who played a Japanese woman. Elizabeth Taylor, who played Cleopatra. Or how about the entire cast of the live-action Avatar film? Because let me tell you, there were a lot of characters of color in the cartoon, but when it came to a live-action film, there were definitely all white. All I'm saying, keep that same energy, sis. And in the same token, while you're mad at black people portraying white characters, y'all also want to make a big deal that cartoons that have black leads are pandering to black audiences. You know what? We can't win, and I give up. I give up dealing with y'all because y'all are not happy. Y'all don't want to see black people win. Y'all don't want to see black people in a positive light. Y'all don't. Nothing that we get is good, and I'm tired of debating with people who clearly don't care about the humanity of people who don't look like them. And let me tell you something, if you're one of those people who think like that and you believe like that, you're not going to be in a good place. You're not. Your soul is sour, and I implore you to get your soul right. Not for me, because I really don't give a damn, but for you, because I care about people as a whole, and I probably shouldn't, but that's just me. That's just my nature. And you really need to get your soul right, because that's not righteous at all. And I don't rock with anything that's not righteous. It's a damn shame that you care more about cartoons and fictional characters than about real people's lives. That's very sad. That means you have no humanity. And damn it, you know what? Since everybody want to have this damn dumbass, fake-ass outrage about characters not being who the fuck they supposed to be, you know what? I'm half Caribbean. I'm half Belizean, you feel me? So I should feel offended with Sebastian from the Little Mermaid having that fake-ass $2 Jamaican accent, sounding like you got a little bit of spice in you after eating a Golden Crust Jamaican patty, wearing a hat with fake-ass dreads, sunglasses, Jesus Force 2 slippers that the old-ass black uncles used to wear at the cookouts with the damn grills. You know that food would be hitting and be busting. Wearing the damn Hawaiian short and them damn khaki shorts. Since we want to get mad at dumb shit, that's what Sebastian sounded like. Y'all couldn't get a real-ass Jamaican person to play that role? Since y'all want to talk about outrage? Get the fuck out of here, yo. Get out of here. You make no sense. Please make it make sense, people. If we want to get mad at shit, make the anger make sense. Make the outrage make sense. That's the least I ask for. That's all I ask. Shit, it got me mad. It got me big mad. Like y'all. Well, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, Halle Bailey is going to be the live action Ariel. So you can continue to support this hashtag not my Ariel. You can continue to be mad and take time out of your busy life and your busy schedule to show your disdain and show your hatred for it and attack somebody else while they're getting a bag. They're getting the bag from this. What are you getting out of it? Nobody is forcing you to watch the movie. Nobody is forcing you to spend your money on a movie that you don't want to see. But my thing is, if I don't like something, I take 2 seconds to acknowledge it and I move the fuck on. I don't make a big deal. I don't make a hoopla out of it, because how does that benefit me in my life? How does that make me get money? I'm just saying. Y'all heads is in the wrong space. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, Halle Bailey is the new Ariel, and ain't a damn thing that anybody besides Disney can do about it. Next case. Okay, now this podcast is going to be twofold. In the first part, I talked about Halle Bailey being Ariel and the implications of it and reacting to some people's criticisms of it. Now, in the second part of the podcast, it's kind of going to put what I said in the first part on the flip side, just a little bit. Because I think this is something that we really need to talk about as Black people as it pertains to representation in the media. While I'm happy and so uberly proud of Halle Bailey for securing the role as Ariel, and while I do believe that she would be a good asset, an amazing asset to Disney, and she does not deserve any of the hate that's coming her way, we do need to have a serious conversation, a real deal, real gritty, down to the core discussion about Black representation in the media and how we need to be represented. Yes, with Halle Bailey now being the new live action Ariel, a lot of Black people see this as a straight up win for Black culture. I don't 100% agree. I don't. I know it may sound like, but you just praised her in the beginning of this podcast. True, like, what's up, sis? Like, what's going on? I did. And I think that it's a win for Halle Bailey, yes. But for a collective of Black people, especially Black women and Black girls, it's not 100% a win. And let me tell you why. The reason why I don't believe that Halle Bailey playing Ariel in The Little Mermaid is a 100% a win for Black people is that at the end of the day, Halle Bailey is still recreating a role. This role was not created as a new role, and a new role especially for her. This was a role that has been played out decades ago and was created years and years and years and years ago. So essentially what it's doing is it's kind of putting a Black face on a white character. I'm just saying. I'm going to tell you how I see it, and I have to keep it real. And just like with this new onslaught of movies where now Black women and Black men alike are now being recasted to play older roles that were originally white. And what we need to start doing is, if we want to have the positive representation in media and in society, the representation should not just be with the roles. The representation needs to also be within the writing of our own narratives. If we want to be seen in a particular way, we have to be the ones to show people how we want to be seen. We need to be the ones that are creating our own narratives instead of waiting on people who don't really know our voices to write them for us. I think that in order for Black representation to be more authentic, the stories need to actually come from us. More Black writers, more Black people in these board meetings, more Black people coming up with the concepts and coming up with the marketing. I think that way, if we have more of a control on the writing aspect and we have more control on the creating aspect and not just acting it out, I think we would do a lot better when it comes to representation. Now, don't get me wrong, the diversity of characters on the screen is great, but it's only great to a certain degree. True diversity needs to happen at the table with the pen. That's just what I'm saying. It needs to start with the mind, and our brain children need to really be ours. We need to, push for ownership of our own shit. That way that we can control the production, we can control the means of how it is produced and how it's spread. We can control that. Sidebar. Now, coming out of that, I want to talk about Black Panther for a quick second. Even though Black Panther was created by Stan Lee, a white man, I want you to look at something and study something real quick when it comes to Black Panther. Black Panther was a primarily Black cast, Black protagonist, and even a Black antagonist. And it promoted Black culture and a strong and intelligent Black colony. And it promoted unity, and it promoted a sense of pride amongst Black people. And it showed the world, even though you may see us as this, Black people are more than the thugs. Black people are more than the pimps and the hoes and the strippers and the single moms. Black people, there's a whole other side to Black people that y'all don't even know about. Black people can be intelligent. Black people can be into technology. Black people can be into science. Black people can save the world. If you give us that avenue to create these stories and to push these stories out there, I bet you would have a different tune towards Black people. And that's what made Black people gravitate towards Black Panther. And that's why Black people definitely showed up and showed out to the movie. People didn't understand why Black people were so prideful, why Black people were dancing at the theaters, why Black people wore a dashiki to go see Black Panther. It's because a sense of pride that was there that emanated from the movie. It was a movie that was mainstream, that finally depicted Black people in a positive light, that finally depicted Black people as something other than what you're used to seeing. Black people were decked out in African garb and doing dance videos and just popping in and exuding Black excellence. That's what Black excellence is. And that's what Black people are capable of doing. It is connected to an authentic Black story. And that was one of the ways that we changed the narrative. Now, granted, like I said, it's still through Marvel and Stan Lee, God rest his soul, amazing man. Those are more of the stories that we need to be writing. And if we, more Black people, actually were behind the stories and behind the inception and the creation of that story, then there'd be more instances of Black people feeling good and Black people having a sense of pride that I think would be beneficial for us. Now, we as Black people are creative, we're innovative, we're intuitive people by nature. But if you take a look at our history, and even to this current day, we don't own anything. Black people have this history with intellectual property where we tend to lose hold of it, and other people can then claim it as theirs. And when this occurs, we very seldom reap the benefits of our hard work. We're in the forefront, we're the talent, sometimes we are the brainchild behind an idea, but other people are taking more of the pie from it than we do, and we're still left starving with crumbs. If you don't believe me, I need you to take a look at the state of hip-hop and rap in the mainstream. Just look at it. A lot of these rappers are at the forefront. They're rapping, they're singing. They're the ones that's connecting with the audience, and they're drawing the audience in. But a lot of them that are, especially on record labels, the record labels and the managers and everybody else gets more of the pie and gets to the pie first. And then when or if there's any leftover money left, it's not enough for the actual artist that puts the time, the blood, the sweat, and the tears into their craft. And they're the forefront of the moneymaker, but they're hardly making the money. That's why you see a lot of these artists now going to indie labels or just being independent altogether, because they're more in control of their art, they're more in control of their image, they're more in control of their artistry, and they get more of the money up front. But as a whole in the entertainment industry, truthfully speaking, more of the money is made behind the camera. Yes, being an entertainer and being in the limelight is all cool, it's glamorous, everybody knows your name, you get invited to places and you get things for free, but there's a little bit of a restriction. And honestly, especially in the rap game, while yes, it's a good start for you to make your money, the longevity is very, very iffy, and there is not a lot of longevity for a lot of these artists. So when you make your way into the rap game especially, you need to find other avenues to make money, not just rapping, not just music. That's why you see a lot of these other artists going into acting, going into entrepreneurship and owning businesses and whatnot, because the rap game is not forever, and there's only but so much money you can make from it. So just use that platform that you have. So what a lot of these artists do is they use the platform that the rap game has given them, and then they use that as an avenue to make other streams of income. And in the Black community, I feel like we also have another issue. And I know that there are so many people out there that are pushing for Black unity and vying for what we assume is Black excellence. But what I feel we need to stop doing, which is to our own detriment, is that we need to stop blindly giving our support to everything that's Black just because it came from a Black or a presumably Black person. And what I mean by that is we'll blindly accept something that's realistically trash. And let's be honest, a lot of the stuff that comes from some of these Black people is trash. Okay? Be real. And we falsely herald it as genius just because it comes from a Black person and we want to hype another Black person up. Like, I get it. Support your Black brother and Black sister, but be real. If it's trash, if it's degrading, if it doesn't make sense, or if it's in any way, shape, or form harmful to the state of Black culture, then we have a right to say no. We have a right to turn our back on it, and we have a right to say that it is trash. We do that to a lot of these artists in the entertainment industry. I don't even want to talk about the rappers, because a lot of rappers nowadays are honestly trash. I like to say, oh, they're the GOAT, they're amazing. Just because they're different doesn't mean that they're good. Okay? Let's just point that out there. And when it comes to acting especially, with us now diving into this whole diversity ploy, diversity is a good thing. But in order for it to work, it needs to be innovative, it needs to be fresh, and at the very least, it should make sense. Like I said, we're now seeing a new wave of movies being remade, and they're casting Black and brown people as the leads. And these characters were originally white. Now, I know that people are seeing this as a win for representation, and we are taking a step in the right direction. But let me ask you a question. Are we really? Think about it. Why are we, as Black people, especially, so damn happy taking on and seeing other people take on secondhand roles? Why couldn't we have a completely new storyline with a completely new and different character? Why do we seem to be satisfied with getting scraps from the dominant society? The leftovers? Why are we happy getting recycled stuff? I mean, I'm sorry, but as much as I'm here for the representation of Black girls and women shining, this ain't it. This ain't it, fam. I feel like if we desire to shine, we need to do so in our own right and through our own light. We cannot do that by being the Black version of a white character. There's no essence in that. Like, that's not real. It's not authentic. To me, it's like throwing a dog a bone instead of giving them a steak with the meat on it. And now there's a new 007 where now 007 is a black woman, and I see a lot of people raving about it, but to me, it doesn't make sense. I don't understand why you had to do this, because at this point now, it kind of just seems like pandering. It kind of. And I look at things from a case-by-case basis. I don't generalize a whole scenario of multiple things. I look at them like on a case-by-case basis. And in this case, it serves no benefit to black people that 007 is now a black woman. Whereas with the Little Mermaid, it serves a benefit because it's a positive image. A black girl, especially a black girl with locks, is playing a majestic creature. And that's something that little black girls who were not, back in the day, used to seeing other black girls on TV playing Disney characters. This gives black girls something to look forward to, something to look up to, and say, hey, mommy, hey, daddy, I see me on TV, and I'm beautiful. With 007 now being a black woman, I don't see that same trope. I don't. Can somebody please tell me what the purpose of 007 now being a black woman is? It doesn't match the storyline. Like why? Like why? And to me personally, I feel like it doesn't do good to black women stereotypes. Like, how y'all feel about that? I think that it plays into the black women are masculine and black women are always saving other people and not really getting the respect that we deserve. I think it plays more into that, and that's kind of damaging to black women. This role right here, it does not put a fresh perspective on things. Black women are always masculine. Black women are always saving the day and helping somebody, even to our own detriment. What is new? What's new about it? Personally, like with the whitewashing of characters of color, I think that things like this, putting a black face on a white character, is also very lazy. It's very lazy promotion. It's very lazy marketing. It's very lazy creatively, periods. Okay? Periods. You're not trying. You're just recycling a story and putting a new face on it just because you feel that's what the people want. And you know, in general, taking race out of the equation, how bad these sequels usually end up. It is very rare that a sequel is usually as good as the first movie, especially if it's created years and years and years after the first movie. I mean, you couldn't find somebody similar to the original James Bond to play the role. I mean, come on, man. Come on. But I guess you think that's what the people want. So, okay, I can't get mad. You kind of playing into racism and playing into diversity and especially colorism, for your own profit. And I wish people saw that. People are using colorism and people are using racism. Like, they know that these issues are occurring and they're doing that to milk money out of you. I wish people could open their eyes to that, because that's exactly what they're doing. And all in all, I just want to get something clear. I just want to ask a question. I don't understand why black people, not every black person, but a lot of black people claim to have such a disdain for white people and the things that, white society has done to black people, but we openly accept things like this and not see the undertones behind it. Like, it's not genuine. Like, why can't you really see that? Why can't we see that? Why do we accept the hand-me-downs, the scraps, the recycled rolls and stuff like that, and also vie for acceptance by people who really have shown time and time again that they don't want to accept us? And we do that, and we're willing to allow anyone and everyone into our own spaces and culture at the risk of our own erasure by culture vultures. And let me tell you, this is the reason, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't have anything. Why we don't own anything. Because we are too focused on acceptance and asking for acceptance, and not focused on creating our own and protecting our own intellectual property. Because you see how they take our swag and our soul and our style and they flip it and they come up with another name, like straight up Christopher Columbus and like that woman that created the $98 bonnet. Come on, like really? Sis, you made a whole bonnet cap and sold it for $98 when black people have been wearing these damn bonnets for generations. And that shit costs less than $5 at the damn beauty supply store. Sis, you did not invent nothing new. But this is what we're dealing with. And you know that. Now, I want to end off the podcast by saying this because I know I've been here for a long time. If we want people to change the way they see us, we have to change the narrative ourselves. We can't depend on anybody else to write our own narratives and to tell our own stories. Why are we allowing other groups to resent us, to represent us? That's dangerous because then again, they control the narrative. We need to really be careful on who we give that power to and don't just accept any and everything that's placed in front of you because you feel like that's all that's there. Because it's not. And you know how that's ended for us. Whoever controls the narrative controls how you are viewed. And we need to take that responsibility into our own hands. If we don't want others to control our image, we need to control it ourselves. And representation in the media should not just be for characters. It should start at the inception. It needs to start with the writing and being the producing and the videography. We need to have a stronger hold on that creative process. And then when we have a hold on that, we need to keep holding it. Because at the end of the day, can't nobody tell our stories like us. Okay, that is the end of my podcast. If you are one of the realest ones to listen all the way to the end, I want to thank y'all so much for listening. I want to know how you guys are feeling about it in the comment section below. Are you happy for Halle Bailey scoring the role of Ariel in the Little Mermaid live action film? Are y'all gonna go to see the movie? And how do you feel about corrective diversity when it comes to media? How do you feel about black people getting roles that were originally white? And how do you feel that we can change the whole representation movement when it comes to writing our own stories? How do y'all feel with my opinion? Do you agree that we need to write our own stories? Do you feel that we need to be behind the stories? Or do you feel that, just throwing a black face on the white character is representation enough? I want to know how y'all feeling in the comment section below. Please, once again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and press the bell button if you're listening on YouTube so that you can be notified whenever I drop a video. It is your girl, True Mystique. Once again, you are listening to The Black Tapez. And until the next time, my beautiful people, I will see y'all later. I'm out. Peace.